So the Olympics is going on right now, and we've seen a lot of different races, the 100, the 200, maybe the 400. And you'll notice that everyone is wearing, of course, different apparel. The race may be a little bit more difficult for others, and some may not even finish. But the key thing here is, even though we're running this same race called life, we're all in it together, we run different races, different individual races. And just like in the Olympics, just like in track, you're in your own lane. You don't want to veer too much left, too right, or slow down. You don't want to trip. You have to stay focused and being in your own lane. And this is what today's podcast is about. Staying focused, being in your own lane, and running your own race. Because if you look at other people and see what they're doing, and you pay too much attention to what they're doing and realize, oh, I'm not there yet, it can steal the joy that you get out of the experience of running the race in the first place. So, Jose, what do you have to say about running your own race in life?
I think that we spend an exorbitant amount of time focused on other people's lives and other people's accolades and other people's positions as opposed to ourselves. And whether we are conscious of this or not is very, very, very important, because otherwise it's still happening. And the first step that we need to do is understand that it is happening in order to counteract it. Now, something very interesting here. In 2010, a Harvard Gazette study found that people spend 46.9% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're doing, which is often called mind wandering. And some say that this mind wandering can lead to unhappiness, and others say that it often involves negative thoughts and ruminations. Now, something that y'all might not know about Austin and myself is that we are overthinkers. We very much overanalyze and overprocess things. And perhaps in the past, that was something that we viewed sort of as a negative, because it would tend to lead to negative thoughts, depressive thoughts, or anxious thoughts. But as time progressed, we learned that this is actually one of our greatest characteristics and attributes, because we actually have the ability to think more in depth and more well-rounded than if we were not overthinkers, because we're constantly analyzing situations and circumstances. However, there becomes a point in time where you are running a race, where you do have very, very strong competition, and you have a very, very narrow window by which you have to complete a certain task, a goal, or whatever it might be. And in these moments, you have to shut off that 46.9% tendency to focus on other things other than the task at hand. That could be akin to putting on blinders as if you were a racehorse, so that you see nothing in your surroundings except for that singular goal. And it could also be something as simple as changing your environment, putting yourself in a quiet room away from the windows and away from distractions, putting that phone down, putting it on do not disturb. But it all just comes down to the fact that oftentimes it's the present moment that's the most important and most critical moment. And thinking in the future, or thinking of the past, or thinking of somebody else, or thinking about Joe Schmo, or even Lisa, these things are not going to help progress you forward. They're actually simply distractions. And not only that, if you're wasting time, you're wasting energy, which means you're wasting the potential to do more.
And I'd like to add here that there is a common saying, and I actually just heard it, I believe, yesterday. Again, of course, is comparison is a thief of joy. Now, in certain degrees, I will agree with that. However, I do think that comparison is a thief of joy, but it could be also the catalyst to improvement. So, of course, if and this is what they were referencing before, if you're in the gym and you see someone, or you've maybe aren't comfortable with what you've been able to accomplish at the gym with the weights that you've been able to move and whatnot, and you're lifting and you're saying, this is okay, but this isn't as heavy as I'd like to get, or so-and-so lifts heavier than I do, what have you. In my opinion, if this kind of negative thought makes you want to act, in my opinion, that's not bad at all. It might be the thief of joy. Comparison, in this case, might be the thief of joy. However, it could also lead you to new heights of joy, because if you get complacent with where you're at, that joy will soon become something where you're not feeling that kind of same feeling that you used to when you did that thing, because it's become normal to you. So if you can continue to improve based off of this comparison that you've placed upon yourself to another person who's succeeding more or doing more in whatever realm that you're referring to, by all means, use that comparison, use it as fuel, use it as the motivation that you need to improve and get to where you want to get to. So again, comparison is the thief of joy, but it could be also the catalyst to improvement.
Now, I'm curious to know, when do you think it's beneficial to actually focus on other people running the race? Or if at all ever, do you think it's a good idea?
Well, I don't necessarily think that I don't think you should do it. However, if you get caught doing it, and you could also be watching film, who knows? But if you get caught doing it and you see someone maybe coming up on you a little bit, you could either continue to look or realize that you have to refocus and put in more effort. Because if you're running a race and someone's starting to catch up to you and you see that, or you feel them on your hip, that will either petrify you or motivate you to surpass the limits that you set upon yourself. So I wouldn't recommend looking in another lane or looking at someone else. However, if you do it, if you see it, because you're on your phone, maybe you're watching TV with your parents, or you see something out, you see someone run by, it's not something that we can necessarily avoid all the time, being able to see someone who is, or we may deem as a competitor to us. So if you do happen to see it, use it as motivation. But if you have the choice of subjecting yourself to comparison or removing that from your life, at least as much as you could, I would say remove it as much as you can. Because, again, think of it as when you're running a race. If you look to your left or you look to your right when you're running the race, naturally, what is that going to do? It's going to slow you down. First off, you're not as aerodynamic when your head's turned this way. It's more wind hitting the side of your head, which is going to naturally slow you down. And you're not as focused as well. And I forgot who told me this. It might have been in some type of sport or something like that. Maybe golf. But wherever your head goes, your body will follow. So if you're leaning or your head's turned to the left, naturally, your body's going to eventually follow that way, probably unconsciously at that. So you have to be cognizant of that. Because if you turn to the left and look at what someone else is doing and see that, oh, they have more money than me, you turn to the right and you see, oh, shit, this person has bigger muscles than I do. You turn backward and see, oh, shit, oh, man, that's the past. In the past, I was so much fucking better. Oh, what's going on? It's not going to help you, and it's going to steer you away from the goal. It's going to help you not be, or make you not be, as focused on whatever it is that you're trying to focus on, which is, again, the goal, which is to win. So if you're veering off And comparing yourself and comparing, where you're at as opposed to where someone else is at, that's only going to lead, in my opinion, to a lack of focus and going to take you longer to get to where you want to get. Now, of course, again, if it's something that you can't control and this comparison just stumbles upon you, there you go. Use it as fuel. But if you can avoid it, because generally there's not a lot that comes from it that is going to be beneficial to you in the race of life.
Now, with that being said, I want to make it clear that you're the one in control of how you're going to run this race. So you are your greatest ally, but you are also your greatest enemy. Even if you want to compare yourself to other people, to give yourself an idea of where you stand in the crowd, it doesn't matter at the end of the day where you are. It just matters what you're going to do about it. And sure, observing other people can teach you certain things like, hey, this is the strategy that they've used that helped them succeed in this domain. However, you got to understand that not everything is copy and paste. And you're going to have to figure out your own strategy and your way of doing it. And easy way for doing that is simply copying what they did and then adapting the style to become your own. So as they say, fake it till you make it. But you got to understand that you have to find a way to lift yourself up to a higher position. You have to find a way to make yourself succeed. But nobody else is going to do that except yourself. And you're going to need even more attention to detail than you would ever even imagine and anticipate. And so it's ever more crucial that you stop focusing on other people. You stop focusing on other people's social medias, the personas or the image that they put up, that you stop focusing on other people's opinion, which could even mean your friends, your family, and your loved ones, people who may not understand you, that you stop focusing on what the crowd is doing or what's trending or what other people are doing in their day-to-day lives, because your future does not concern them. Your future concerns you because you are the one building it. And at the end of the day, you're the only person who's going to appreciate the work that you put in, because only you will understand what it took to get to where you've gotten to.
Indeed. And I want to end on this note to give a little bit of motivation for people. So you have to understand that the race that you may be good in, that you may be great in, may not be the race that someone else is good in, or the person that you're comparing yourself to is good in. And to me, there's nothing wrong with that. You may not be the best 100-meter runner. You may be the best 400-meter runner, 200-meter runner. That might be your thing. And we often waste a lot of time trying to make a square peg fit into a round hole. And when I say that, I mean you are you. You're designed a certain way. You function a certain way. You like certain things. You can do certain things very well that other people may not be able to do. So why is it because you see someone else having some success doing it their way that you say that the only way I can get that success is to do exactly what they did and how they did it? That's not true. You may be able to attain the same success, if not more, if you figure out how to function in this world your way, doing it your way, doing it the way that best suits your talents and your abilities. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand or don't think about. And in my opinion, the only person that you should be comparing yourself to is the you from yesterday. Are you improving? Don't worry about how far you are away from being the next, I don't fucking know, Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or someone like that. Worry about, am I improving day after day? Now, of course, those are goals that you want to look up to and say that, hey, I want to attain, sure. But if you're too focused on that, you won't be focused enough on making the daily incremental changes that need to happen in order for you to become a better person. And if you become a better person, you become a better you that helps you leave a better lasting impact on whatever it is that you want to do or on the world in general. So be you. Don't be scared to be you, and figure out how to be you to the best of your capabilities. Because if you can do that, not only will the success happen for you, it'll happen for you in a way that you're not ashamed of and that you're proud of because you did it your way, not someone else's way that you copied and pasted. Because that might work for them, but you trying to live life how they would live life, even if you succeed, there's going to be a little hole in your heart that says, I did that, but I didn't do it how I wanted to do it. So if you're going to do life, if you're going to try to succeed, you're going to try to achieve anything in life worth achieving, make sure that you do it how you want to do it. And you do it with passion, and you do it realizing the fact that, hey, I am that person that's really good at these things. So I'm going to capitalize on these things and do it my way, as opposed to try to make myself seem like another person that's a facade. Don't be a facade, be you.
You heard it here first from Mr. Duffin, man. The AM Club Podcast.
Signing out.
Mic check.
The AM Club Podcast.